Here. All right. Okay. Good afternoon. It is afternoon on the East Coast. People are rolling in. Okay, got all my screens opened up.
Welcome and thanks for joining, everyone. We'll begin in 2 minutes. We'll allow more people to come in.
Hey, happy Wednesday, everybody. Richard's here. Hey, happy Wednesday, Richard. Regina, I recognize Regina. Shannon, Stephanie, Vaughn, Nia. Jacqueline's here. Becca, Barbara, Alex. Who did I leave out? Did I leave out anybody? Agam, am I saying that right? So, happy Wednesday, everybody.
Hey, Regina. Drop in. Hey, let me know. It is lunchtime, whether you're eating lunch or about to eat. What are you having today for lunch? Today, I will be having, let's see, what am I going to have for lunch? Oh, I know what I'm going to have. I'm going to have a wonderful taco salad.
Oh, nice. Good for you.
My mom made for me.
Nice.
What are you having for lunch, Mr. Curt?
Well, you know what? It's a hectic day today, Weslyene. A little power bar. It's like, you ever have those days where like, hey, did I eat yet?
Oh yeah, there's some days I eat lunch at like 4 o'clock, and I'm like, yeah, this is lunch.
and your stomach's really mad at you, you know?
Yes, it's really more because like my adrenaline makes me not feel hungry. It's like I feel like, oh, I'm about to fall out.
Yes. Oh, you know what? I want to hang out with Stephanie. I'm a huge tuna salad fan. She's got tuna and crackers. So this is awesome. Okay.
Good sustenance.
Okay. All right. We're 12:01 on our side of the world.
All right. We're gonna get started. Welcome. My name is Taya Brown, and I am the Administrative Coordinator at the Temple Small Business Development Center. The Temple SBDC helps small businesses start, grow, and succeed. We do this through our no-cost consulting and a variety of our no-cost webinars and trainings like the one you're attending today. You are joining us for the Master Your Digital Strategy by Serving Before Selling. We are recording today's session, and a copy of that recording and today's PowerPoint will be sent to all attendees within a few days in a follow-up email. All attendees have been muted. We encourage you to post any questions in the Q&A, and I'll now turn the floor over to Curt and Weslyene.
Hey, Taya Brown, thank you so much. What an honor, what a privilege to be here today with everybody. So guys, first off, we want to give a big thank you to the Small Business Development Center at Temple University. They are absolute rock stars in every sense of the word. So Director Maura Shanker, she does an amazing job, has put together this awesome team. As a matter of fact, Taya, I dropped your profile, Wesleyan's profile, my profile, our LinkedIn profiles in the chat box. Love to connect with you guys. If you haven't engaged or connected with the Small Business Development Center, boy, please do. Their services are completely free, always free, totally confidential. If you're coming to us outside of Philadelphia area, there are all sorts. I think around 20 SBDCs throughout the great state of Pennsylvania. So there is an SBDC near you. So my name's Curt Anderson. I'm with my partner today, none other than the one, the only Weslyene. Weslyene, how are you, my friend?
I'm doing well, all the way from Houston, Texas, joining you. And as my son said, Mommy, it's only going to be 96 today. So he is a true Texan, born and raised. It's only 96 because we're not in triple digits.
Wow, nice. Well, I think it was when I was with my daughter this morning, it was 49. How's that?
Wow.
So we're about half. We're about half of what you had, right?
Very different. Curt, tell everyone about yourself as we see your nice face popped up here on the screen.
Yeah, that's scary, guys. So again, guys, welcome to the program today. We are thrilled to have you here. Let us know what you're having for lunch. Becca's having some nachos, man. I'm jealous of Becca. We've got Stephanie's having tuna salad. We're talking about lunch, but drop a note, drop your LinkedIn profile. We would absolutely love to know where you're at. This is a great opportunity to connect with your fellow friends, fellow entrepreneurs here. My name's Curt Anderson, coming to you live from Lakewood, New York, sitting on the shores of wonderful, beautiful, lovely Chautauqua Lake, this nice little lake in upstate New York. I'm an e-commerce evangelist for manufacturers. Number one job on the planet. I am a girl dad. Wrote this little book called Stop Being the Best Kept Secret. That's our goal today. We want to help you stop being the best kept secret. And I do all sorts of fun little webinars and workshops. Weslyene, how about you? What's going on in Houston? What's going on with Weslyene?
Let me tell you guys a little bit about myself. My name is Weslyene Greer, and I'm the owner of Transform Sales. What we do is we work with companies and we talk about all kind of selling strategies, and we don't do these things in a box. So everything that you learn today is going to be something you can implement, something that you can execute. We work with companies of all size, primarily in what I like to say in those hard industries. So science, technology, engineering, manufacturing, as well as distribution. And fun fact about me, I am a recovering chemist. So I started my career as a chemist, and now I work with people who think just like me or thought just like me to sell amazing things. Ready to get rolling, Tucker?
Absolutely. And what a perfect path. Who wouldn't go into chemistry and then find yourself as a sales coach and a sales guru? And hey, Stephanie dropped a note. She used to live in Lakewood. So hey, Stephanie, we'll have to connect on LinkedIn. And I just shot a beautiful, I was walking my dog, had a beautiful sunset last night on Chautauqua Lake, and I sent a nice screenshot to Weslyene. So yeah, come join me and visit Lakewood anytime. So take it away, Weslyene.
That's awesome. So today we are going to dig into serving before selling in a digital world. So Curt, when you hear serve before selling, what does that make you think about?
Well, now we're not talking about at home, right? So, because I do a lot of serving. No, I'm just teasing. So, we want to be, you and I, how you and I connected, how we resonate, and we've become partners this past year is we love edutaining people, right? We call our workshops, our webinars, we love to educate. So we've really dedicated ourselves to, educating, helping folks by serving first. And then, how do we build a relationship? We all have to make a living. We all have bills to pay. So we can't pretend that we don't. But when we dedicate ourselves to really moving the needle for our ideal clients, that's how we try to drive success.
Absolutely. And I want you guys to think about that today. When you're going through your daily hump of life, of work, of business, how can I serve? What can I do within my capacity to not just feel like I'm always selling? And the reason I like to talk about serving before selling is because sales is like an icky word to so many people. It's like, oh, I hate sales. I hate selling. Yeah, I don't like that. I want to be a used car salesperson. But if you switch that framework and say, I am serving someone, what I am doing is I am helping someone have a better quality of life. I'm helping someone do something a little bit better. So now I want you guys to write in the chat, tell me how you serve your clients, your customers. So not sell, don't tell me what you sell. Tell me how you serve them. Curt, how do you serve your clients?
I'm an e-commerce evangelist for manufacturers. So my shtick, my ideal customer, we call them those soulmates. Anybody, Richard, Regina, I think you've been in our workshops. We love talking about those soulmates. My shtick, my peeps, if you will, are manufacturers. And in particular, a lot of manufacturers are digital immigrants like myself. I'm in my 50s, and we remember life without digital. And, it's a little bit more challenging for us older folks. So what my mission, what my purpose, what I feel that I've been put on earth to do is help manufacturers trying to make this whole digital transformation, in particular with e-commerce.
I love that. I love that. And I see Alex Sinton says he's enabling working in remote places, just like at home. So he's not forcing people to buy something. He is enabling. And I really love that word that you used, Alex, because that is actually a key to when we talk about serving. What action word can we use to help people understand what we're doing? So what I do is I transform people's sales. I transform sales organizations. I transform sales strategies. So needless to say, that's why that's the name of my company. I know Alex isn't the only person serving his clients. I want to see some more stuff. Pop it in, pop it in.
There's Becca.
Gluten-free. Oh yeah, Becca. I'm still waiting for my gluten-free stuff, Becca. You're supposed to send it to me last week. Andrea says the creative director of an ag manufacturing company working with the marketing team to sell our equipment. Nice. So Andrea, I really, really love what you said, because inherently you're not quote unquote a salesperson, but everyone within the company is a salesperson. So that's something I'm going to change the paradigm for right now. And remember, so your job is to serve the marketing team, to serve the sales team, right? And so you're serving them by providing them the creative intel they can't come up with themselves. Nia says, serving incredible organizations by connecting them with motivated, intelligent technology workforce.
Nice.
You are serving organizations. I love that, by helping them get this talented technology workforce. And Neha, I'm going to take it a step further. By providing them with a talented tech workforce, what does that do? That helps them be better positioned in their in their space to their competitors. So whatever you're writing in the chat, make sure you copy that down and put it in a Word doc, because this is going to be key. Provide people with seasonal selection of vegan cheese and meats for the chart. How do you say that? Charcuterie? Is that how you say it, Curt?
I think so.
It's a fancy word.
It is a fancy word.
But you're giving people, you're helping them improve their quality of life, right? Because a person who's vegan, they don't really get to have cheese. It's right. Just not a thing, or they feel like they're eating cardboard. I know, I've been there, done that. Right. So keep writing down how you guys serve people. I want to see that in the chat.
Yeah, look at Terrell. I help people add a finishing touch to the perfect outfit. Ooh. So they can build confidence, shift perceptions, promote self-expression, and share their style. Terrell, I need to connect with you, dude. I'm a fashion disaster. You know, my daughter always makes fun of me. Since COVID, I don't think I've worn anything outside of workout clothes, Weslyene. So I definitely need to connect with Terrell. Terrell, awesome job. I love that. Building confidence. And let's take a look at Becca. We'll get you some food. Don't worry.
Yes, get that packaging figured out so you can start sending me some yummy, yummy treats.
That's right.
So guys, again, keep writing down how you serve people, because the output of our conversation today is I'm going to show you how to craft the perfect warm email. We don't do killed emails. We don't do that. And the way you serve people is going to be a key input. So if you haven't typed it out, if you haven't thought about it yet, think about it as we're going through, because it's going to be very important. So quality over quantity. Quality over quantity. So many times we're so focused on the masses. We're focused on getting so many people. If I don't call 100 people today, then I'm not gonna do what I need to do. If I don't have 50 likes, then nobody saw my post. Quality is more important than quantity. Tell me about that, Curt. You have some special stories, I feel like, about this.
Well, I do, but you know what? I gotta give another shout out to Nia, if I could, please. Yeah. You know, so when you read, serve incredible organizations by connecting them, AKA, I'm assuming I think it's a she, right, Nia? I hope I didn't offend anybody. I'm taking that as a recruiter, right? And what's great is what you always love to preach is, like, instead of talking about like the title, the position, we did a LinkedIn workshop just yesterday, and you were doing a great job. Like, hey, I'm not necessarily the president, I'm serving. And you were helping folks build out their LinkedIn profile. And our dear buddy Devin was like, I don't even like to put president in my title because I like to serve. I like to have fun. I like to help people accomplish their goals and what have you. So coming back to, are we going into that niche conversation? Is that what we're talking, quality over quantity?
Quality over quantity.
Exactly.
Yes. Yes. So, yes.
what we want to do is my response to that is we're both big baseball fans and we love to preach. How do we stay in our strike zone? And I find as soon as I slip out of my strike zone, I'm jeopardizing quality because I'm trying to get that quantity and I'm just not going to deliver the value that I really think or hope that I should be able to do. And you and I have multiple examples where you'll text me, call me, you'd be like, man, Curt, I walked away from a big deal. Hey, I walked away from this speaking gig. I'm not going to tackle this because like you and I are, I consider you my accountability bud and we're like challenging each other. We want to be the best. And so like, let's stay in our lane, not that we're staying in our comfort zone. I think there's a huge difference between staying in your comfort zone. Okay. I don't feel we're staying in our comfort zone, but we're staying in our strike zone. I feel there's a big difference with that quantity, that quality over quantity.
Absolutely. And so I want you to think about when we are thinking about things in terms of sales, so often sales or marketing, we think about the number of people, the number of likes, the number of impressions. And I want you to switch that paradigm. And I want you to think about the quality of those people, because would you rather have 2 customers that pay you $1,000 a year or 20 customers that pay you $100 a year? There's a lot more drama the more customers you have. So think about the quality. And this strives through your sales process and even your product design. Having a better quality product, having a better quality sales cycle is better than just being fast. So write in the chat, what do you prefer, A or B? Do you want to send 100 emails with a 2% open rate or 10 emails with a 50% open rate? What's your preference? And I'll give you guys a few minutes to think about it. I want to see if I get more A's or B's. This one is actually surprising, Curt. Sometimes people say, nope, I just want to spray and pray. Okay, but I'm seeing more people are like, okay, I did some quick math. I'd rather have 5 emails open than 2 emails open with less work, right? Literally.
Absolutely.
Less work. So again, that's the quality over the quantity. So how do we get better quality prospects? How do we have better quality emails, cold calls, LinkedIn? You gotta start with research. Tell me something about research, Curt. When you hear research, how does that make you feel? I'm a chemist, so research makes me warm and fuzzy. Yeah. But what does research make you feel?
Oh, makes me cringe, right? Thank goodness I don't have any hair because I'd lose more. Research is not my jam whatsoever. So the thing is, but when doing research, we need to, you're doing due diligence, you are building relationships, and it depends on what you're researching, right? In your previous life, you had to dig deep into those products, right? I didn't get into chemistry school. I was just a business dude, so it was more about the relationships and just kind of building your business and so on and so forth, right? So on the research side, I'm going to share a quick story with you on your quality quantity. And God bless him, I hope my buddy doesn't get mad. I had a buddy and phenomenal guy. He's a PhD, brilliant, very successful, so on and so forth. He went through a god awful, heartbreaking, terrible breakup, divorce. Okay. Found himself, he's in his 40s, didn't know what to do, so on and so forth. So he starts, he's trying to get back into the dating game. And he contacts me. He's like, dude, I'm embarrassed to tell you, I've gone on a dating site and I've like solicited, blah, blah, tons of people, and I'm batting 0. And I'm like, dude, put this in perspective. I'm like, if you went into whatever, bar or, and like, you're like, hey, do you want to go on a date? 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 It's not going to work. You know what he did? He goes on his profile. He built this amazing, he shoots me a text. He's like, hey, check out my profile. I'm like, dude, this is so good. I want to date you. It was like heartfelt. It was phenomenal. He met his soulmate immediately after, got married because he laser focused on. So if you appreciate or you get that analogy, and God bless we've been buddies since junior high. And so I just love that analogy when he was just kind of that spray approach. Man, he was just floundering, and he's a great guy, good looking guy, successful guy. But man, when he laser focused, he found his soulmate.
I love it. Curt. That was a good story. That was good. but we're not necessarily talking about prospect research. So just like your buddy, he went and he was like, okay, let me figure out what kind of person is my soulmate. And a lot of times that's what we think about because we're in our box, and inside our box, we're like, who can I get to buy from me? I'm here to change your paradigm. I don't want you to think about your prospect first. I want you to research your competitors. But you're like, Weslyene, I don't have any competitors because my product is so unique. It is so amazing that there's no one else out here that can do this because I am the only one. Have you heard that a few times, Curt?
Once or twice, and not, I've probably been guilty of that. We've all been there. We like, my mom thinks I'm unique, but guess what? I'm really not, so that is the challenge. We think we're unique, but when it comes down to it, we're not. And that's where we just really need to focus on what we're best at.
Exactly. So how do you even go about figuring out, okay, who is my competitor? And I will say there are sometimes, and I would say this is the minority, not the majority of the time, but there are some times where your product is new. It's different. There are no existing incumbents. Your competitor is not doing anything. So let's think about a company like, I'll say like a Zillow. We can think about Zillow. Zillow was brand new. They're like, we don't have any competition. Now, this was old Zillow back in the day before they had competition. Zillow, they give you if you're not familiar with what they do, they give you information to actually, they give you your pricing information. They let you know what houses are on the market, all of the stuff that is available nationwide. So before Zillow came around, each state, each region had their own little hubs. So you had to go to Houston Association of Realtors, had to go to this place to look that up. You couldn't see it so widely. And you could never, as a homeowner, you could never look your actual value up based on AI or what was available in the market. So Zillow came up with this idea. Maybe they weren't first to the market, but they're the biggest one now. And they're like, there's nobody else like us. But their competition was doing the old, which was a traditional realtor, right? So if people always went to a realtor and got comps instead of going online and search for it, that was their competition. So that's a really good example of what your competition may be. There may not be a company that you're directly competing with head to head, but it's the old way of doing things, right? So that's what I want you to think about. What is the old way of doing things, or who are the actual competitors? One way you can look this up is Googling the name of your company plus competitor, right? And so if you are a large enough company, then something will come up. Like if I typed in Zillow competitor today, I'm going to get a whole list of companies. But let's say I'm in that place where I'm so new in my business. I really don't know who may be my competitors, what the old way of doing things is. So I'm going to type in real estate agent competitors, right? Because I know, or competition to real estate brokers, or competition to house values, right? So that is how you find your competitors. Who are some of your competitors, Curt? If you want to give up some intel on that, you don't have to say them by name. You can say what they do.
Yeah, there's enormous amounts of competition, for what I do, what we do, where we try to spin it. So there's a lot of, say, marketing firms, a lot of internet marketing, a lot of e-commerce firms. What you and I like to preach is we like to do it with our companies, with our manufacturers. Our tagline is we want to teach them how to fish. Mm-hmm. So we do a little bit of a hybrid of how can we teach and educate with our edutainment, combined with some of those aspects that we do it with and for the companies. I love what you're doing. Just to chime in real quick on this, a lot of time, all right, well, who's our competition? Again, you and I are baseball fans. We're here today at Temple University, Philadelphia Phillies, Houston Astros. If I were to say, hey, Weslyene, who's the competitor for Major League Baseball in Houston? Well, there isn't technically a competitor of Major League Baseball in Houston, but I have a lot of other options and choices. I could go to the movies. I could go to the park. I could go swimming. I could do all sorts of other activities. So though we might think, well, there are no competitors for Major League Baseball in Philadelphia, Pennsylvania, or Houston, Texas, but there's all sorts of other competing opportunities and services. So we just want to think, everybody has options. What are the other options before you existed? What are the options if you didn't exist?
Exactly. And a lot of time, if we're in a space like a business to consumer space, or even a business to business space, it's not necessarily a direct competitor. It's like, I only have $100 in my pocket and my kids want to have fun this weekend. Do I take them to the trampoline park? Do I take them to the movies? Do I take them to just go out to eat? It's like there's so many different things that people can do with the pot of money that they have. So don't have the wool on your eyes and say, I don't have any competitors. There's nobody else doing it, because you must also be introspective. What are they doing better than you? This is a toughie. This is a toughie. And so when we think about our competitors, we created our product. We are in this business because we are like, I'm doing this better. Like, I can make this better. But sometimes you have to be honest with yourself. And the reason why we must be honest and think about what they are doing better than we are is simply because we do not want to fall into their traps. So if I go out there and I say, I am the most amazing sales training coaching company around, and I've been around for 50 years. It's like, oh, wow, that's interesting, Weslyene. Like, are you even 50 years old? But no. That's what my competitors are saying. And everybody thinks that. And because I feel that this is what my soulmate likes, they want a more established company. They want somebody who's been around for longer, right? But you have to understand what they're doing better than you so you don't fall into their traps. One. And two, you have to find out what they're doing better than you so that you can hear those objections that will come up. You can hear the things that people are saying and you'd be like, I'm not even going to step into that. Just leave that alone. Say, oh yeah, you know what? Acme Corporation does do that really well. So that is the first thing. Now, went too far. Oh. No, I didn't. Okay, there we go. So how do you figure this out? Research, guys, read their case studies, customer reviews, about page. And as I said, this will help handle objections during discovery. So if you read and you say that, okay, I see Terrell asked the question. I'll come to you in a second. So let's say, and you guys keep putting in those, how you serve people so I can make sure I give you some good realistic examples. I'm going to go back up here to see seasonal selection of vegan cheese and meats. Okay, so if we see that one of our competitors, they not only have vegan cheese and meats, but somebody says, oh my gosh, I love them so much because they have vegan cheese and they have traditional cheese, and I was able to entertain everybody in my family that really wanted to have a treat. You know, maybe they're having wine and cheese, right? So you get on a call, you're talking to somebody, or somebody calls in and they say, well, do you have traditional stuff? Because we want to have everyone around. And you're like, you know what? There are a lot of companies that have a wide selection. However, we pride ourselves on only offering vegan options. And the reason we do that is because 1, 2, 3. And so we found that really being specific about what we do makes us better. We're not a jack of all trades and a master of one. We're really good at vegan cheeses and Curt. You're going to have to teach me how to say the word charcuterie. I can't say it.
Shannon's going to have to give us a lesson, right?
Yes. So Curt, tell me about when you have done some competitive research before. What insights have you gotten about reading about your competitors or your clients' competitors?
Yeah, great question. And Terrell asked a great question here, and I'll say this: I love you have reviews. So you and I are in that industrial marketing space. So just this week, I found a company that was actually bidding on my company name for Google Ads. Okay, and that was I guess a little bit of flattery and a little bit of like, that's interesting. So another way to do it, Google. Hey, Shannon helped us out.
I see charcuterie. There we go.
Thank you, Shannon.
I get it. Thank you, charcuterie. There we go. Charcuterie.
You're the best. So what I've done, good, we got a good job, Weslyene. That's awesome. Thank you, Shannon. So what I did is, Google your name. You do a great job with this. Weslyene, Google your name, your personal name, see what comes up. Google your company name, see what comes up. See if anybody is bidding on using Google Ads. Okay, that's those. If we're familiar, we do our workshops on keyword strategies, right? Google your name and that process. And then what I did is I started like digging around. What are these companies doing? What are they offering? What are they doing better than me? Hey, they have a podcast. What type of guests are they interviewing? Do they have any guests that I should be interviewing? So you have a podcast. I do a couple LinkedIn lives every week. So we just want to like focus on be aware of what other people are doing out there.
Absolutely. And the thing is, Terrell, I say that you should have about 3 competitors, right? And so when we're looking at our competitive analysis, you don't want to get too messy, but have the top 3. And when you do this, it helps you, as Curt said, it's like, well, what kind of things are they doing? Mm-hmm. And I remember when I first started my business, I actually did this. And one of the people the firms that I actually used to do my competitive analysis, in March, I went to a course that she taught. And because I have no shame, I said, hey, Colleen, you're like the Oprah to me. When I started my business, I looked to see everything that you were doing because I wanted to see how you became so excellent. So it's okay to follow these people. You should be following them on social media. Sign up for their newsletters. Like, really understand what they're doing. We're not trying to steal anything. We just want to understand them.
Hey, Weslyene, let's go. If we can go here for a second and kind of help me out. If I don't want to go too deep, you and I preach. We were talking about soulmates, and we love talking about that soulmate 100. Okay. Yes. Here's another thing that I think you and I really focus on. We love aligning ourselves with amazing people, high energy. I know you have an interview coming up with Gail Robertson, I think probably in an hour or so, right? And so we love aligning ourselves with other people in this B2B industrial marketing space. What we've done is on your podcast, on my LinkedIn Lives, folks that might be deemed competitors, I bring them on as guests all the time. I just had one on last Monday. We arguably are borderline competitors. He sent me a note and he was like, hey, Curt, he goes, I just want to make sure I don't step on your toes in any way. I'm like, dude, you talk about whatever you want to. I'm here for you. We're shining a bright light on you, your business. There's plenty of business to go around. So, I really embrace those. It's funny when you're saying it, because I almost I view them as friends, not necessarily competitors. When it comes down to it, maybe we're vying for the same business, but there's just so much business out there. I don't mean to sound naive, but that's one thing that you and I work on, are building those friendships and relationships with people in the same space.
Absolutely. And you teed up this next slide perfectly, because they're competitors. Maybe you guys operate in the same space, but there are gaps, right? There are things that your competitor is not doing well. They're not focused in this specific area. They're not only, and so Terrell, are you only for, maybe you say, I'm just for men, I'm just for women, I'm only for millennials, I only work in this part of the country. So don't feel like I'm just a startup, it's just me, and that's a bad thing. No, that means we offer a personalized service. Our products are specific to your needs. So being small isn't bad. So never say me being small is a bad thing, but think about some of the gaps that they have. If somebody's offering a huge wide array of products, That's not a good thing. If you read the reviews and you see every other review is like, man, I love the product, but customer service sucks. What do we talk about? We talk about great customer service then. Oh man, the product quality is horrible. The packaging, every time I get a subscription, a delivery, it comes all jammed up. So that means I need to make sure my boxes don't arrive bad. So think about the gaps that you find in the products or services of your competitors. And because, like I said, I like to bring some action. So now we talked about how we serve our prospects. We thought a little bit about our competitors, and I do want you guys to do some competitive research to drill down deep. But we all kind of know our competitors a little bit. We know some of the things they're doing, what they may not be doing, and what we do different. So what is the value you are bringing to your prospect? And I want you to think about that. The value that you are bringing to the prospect. And when I say value, I do not mean product benefits. Not product benefits, the value. So I want to see some stuff in the chat. We have 23 people on here. I want to start seeing some things flying.
And why they're doing that, Wesley, and this reminds me of, I'm not a big TV watcher, but that there's a TV show, The Shark Tank. I'm sure everybody's familiar with Shark Tank, right? And Barbara Cochran is one of the sharks. And I love Barbara, I love her interviews. I love listening to her talk. Mm-hmm. And she has a tagline, make me money, save me time, make me prettier, and I'll invest. So I love that line. I use it all the time and reference her, of course, but think about with this slide right here about your benefits, do you make them money, save them time, make them prettier?
That's good. That's good. And it's the things that people are thinking about, because while I would hope that everybody is thinking about, oh yeah, I want my salespeople to sell better. Oh no, I want my salespeople to write better cold emails. That is what every business owner goes to sleep thinking about, right, Curt? Right. They're thinking about, I want to hit my quota this month. Mm-hmm. I need to show the investors how much we've grown. Mm-hmm. So think about the overarching value. It's not just my product does this, so this is the value that you guys can get. And I know that I'm challenging you to think a little bit outside of the box and do things a little bit differently. That's okay. I am going to keep going because we're going to build on this value statement. So to understand the value you bring to the prospect, you must understand why people buy from you. Mm-hmm. Why? So why? When you hear that, why? I think about my son saying, why, mommy? Why? Why do I have to do that? And then he asks you why 50 million times. So Curt, why, when you hear that, why do people buy from you? What are some of the answers, the responses that you typically get when you're working with clients?
Yeah, great question. And, in my world, in our world, that, there's a belief system. It's like, I'm somewhere and I want to be somewhere else. I'm going on a journey. I'm a traveler and I need a guide. So I'm entering into this e-commerce jungle and I don't know what to do. Or, let's call out some, like Terrell. I know where I'm at, so like, hey, make me prettier. I don't know if he'll make me prettier, but maybe if he's targeting middle-aged, or am I middle-aged? I don't know what I am, Gen X, guys that really struggle with fashion, maybe Terrell is going to make me a little bit prettier or build that confidence. Where was the other one? I saw a manufacturer one in there. I think it was Andrea, right? Andrea has the, creative director of a manufacturing company. So like, all right, wait a minute. How does that fit in? Well, if she's selling a proprietary product and if she's in the ag world, so Andrea, I'm not sure exactly what you do, but let's say if you're selling to farmers, well, you're going to help them, reap their crops or grow their, whatever, you're helping them make more money. So again, we want to think about where is your ideal customer? Where's that soulmate in their journey? And how do you help them make it better?
Exactly. And thinking about that, like, hey, the why, that deep underlying why is so key. And the reason why is important is because the customer's why is equivalent to the customer's problem. So what is a problem? I've never really heard of this. People talk about pain all the time. So what is a problem versus a pain? Okay, so I'm going to break this all the way down for you. And I want you to think about the problem versus the pain. And I want you to apply that to your specific product, your specific customer. So a pain is, I broke my wrist. Okay, I'm in pain. I broke my wrist. I'm going to go to CVS and I'm going to get a wrist brace. That's pain. It hurts. But the problem, where's the problem in our broken wrist? So the problem in a broken wrist is I broke my wrist. I went to the doctor and the doctor told me that, so if you want your wrist to fully heal and go back to full functionality, you have to not use it for a whole month. So I can't use my wrist for a month. I type for a living. I use my hands to type. So I can't type. That means I can't work. I work for a tiny company and my tiny company doesn't have short-term disability. So that means for a whole month, I'm not going to get paid. And if I don't get paid, I can't pay my rent. And then if I don't pay my rent, I'm going to get evicted. And if I get evicted, then I really have an issue because I can't take a bath to go to work. I can't cook food. So that's how a simple broken wrist turns from a pain to a problem. Your job is to help people think about the problem. And maybe the problem that they're thinking about is not, I'm going to get evicted. But a real problem somebody may think about is, what if I lose my income for a month? Right? So maybe you sell a product that helps them, their quality of life, helps them in exercising. I know, Andrea, I think you are working with ag manufacturing, right? So your product is helping those manufacturers in that space achieve some kind of goal. So don't get on the surface. Don't just say that I provide gluten-free treats for those who have gluten intolerance. No, the problem is I can't eat normal donuts because, you know, I'm newly gluten intolerant, gluten-free, right? I can't eat normal people donuts. I love donuts. Like, my quality of life is impacted greatly by not being able to go sit down at a restaurant and they bring out dessert and everybody else gets something and I'm just staring at them looking because they don't have anything gluten-free. So for me, it's not the fact that, oh, I can't just eat gluten. It's affecting my quality of life because when I'm going out, I feel like I'm left out. So that was a whole mouthful, Curt. Tell me the synopsis of what you got on the pain versus the problem.
Well, I love it. I'm gonna keep running with my buddy Terrell today. So I love that concept, and I think it's because, you know, we can all relate to this. So again, I'll go back to my buddy that went through this awful divorce, found himself single, mid-40s, didn't want to be single. Now what do I do? And maybe he, wasn't the most fashion conscious. So now I can hook up with a Terrell. Puts him in a better place, maybe professionally. Maybe I land a job that I wouldn't have otherwise. Maybe I close a big deal if I'm in sales. Maybe I finally land the soulmate, romantically, because I felt more confident in myself. So the pain is I'm a bad dresser. The problem is, geez, I'm single. My career's not advancing, so on and so forth. And Terrell just saved the day. He made me the potential hero of the story, and that's what you love to preach about, is how do we help that ideal customer be the hero of your story?
Absolutely, Curt. You hit the nail on the head. That's a really, really great thing for you. And Terrell, I hope if you're not writing that down, if you don't have that feverishly written, make sure you go back and listen, because Curt just gave you the best problem statement. It's not about the here and now. It's about the fact that if I don't have the right clothes, I don't feel confident enough to go on a date. And if I don't feel confident enough to go on a date, then I'll probably never date again. Maybe I won't get married again. Maybe I won't find the love of my life, right? It's those things that people have in the back of their mind, the things we have in the back of our mind that we don't actually say, those fears. But if somebody gets an email, that's one sentence, and it just hits it right there, they're like, that is it. And I love what Marcelina, hopefully I said that right. She said that you find talent for a client that is multifaceted. It's not just the skill set, but the personality and the environment. You help remove the cycle of hiring the same position over and over. So in essence, she gives them time and happiness to be surrounded by people they enjoy being with for 8 hours a day. Wow, that is powerful, Marcelina. You get it. You get it. You are doing the work right here during our workshop. And everyone, even if you're not putting it in the chat, I really want you to take time after the workshop, during the workshop, go back and listen. Pause me. I know I talk fast. Pause me, right? And really think about this. Offering people a chance to have fancy cheese that they can't normally eat. Yes, that is good. I want you to give me a little bit more, Shannon, about fancy cheese. What does fancy cheese mean? Yes, y'all. Yes, I see that, Marcelina. Y'all, anytime somebody says y'all, I know where you're from.
Yep. I would say you guys, you say y'all, but we make it work, right?
And so we tapped into this. And again, what are the problems people are trying to solve when they buy your product or service? And if you mention anything your product does, you're wrong. Because why, Curt? What's that last sentence say?
Well, I hate to tell everybody it's bad news, but other than mom, just not many people really care about us, do they?
Nah, not at all. Not at all. And so do not mention your product or service when you are cold emailing, when you are cold calling, when you are putting things on social media and your strategy. Don't put it on there. Right. Nobody cares about features or tricks. What is the problem? How does it help your life? Yes, Stephanie. Yes, Stephanie. All right. Okay, Becca. She said she's starting to get it. Gluten-free products can solve problems with inclusiveness, particularly in this region. Supporting local business also strengthens the economy and adds something special to the community and sustainability. Yes, inclusivity. Your products make everyone feel included, Becca. They can go sit down. Like I literally just got chills. Like that is exactly what you do. And if you're going to restaurants and you want them to carry your product, that is what you tell them. You tell them that everyone can sit down and be included. Everybody can sit down for a family meal together at your restaurant. And they'll be like, oh, okay. And if you're talking directly to consumers, you can say everyone can have dinner together. You don't have to make spaghetti and meatballs and then zucchini noodles and meatballs. You can tell how much I love those, right? Everybody can have the same thing. So inclusivity, that is the key, Becca. You like hit the nail right on the head. It is all about inclusiveness. And that is exactly where we want to go. And you see, Vaughn is like, I like that. That resonated with me. All righty. So why are they solving this problem? We got to go deep, all the way to the bottom of the ocean. Go as deep as possible. And if they don't solve this problem, what kind of impact does it have on them? Personally or professionally? That's pretty deep, huh?
That's deep. Yeah. And I love what you said earlier, Weslyene. So I'm thinking about like our world and our, the business that you and I do together. And one thing that you said that really resonated, and I love I love what Becca just dropped as well. You said, sometimes the competition is doing nothing. And I think one of yours and mine, one of our biggest competitors is inaction. A company not doing anything. And so
Right.
like you're saying, so if Becca, if you're selling to, I don't know if you're selling wholesale to other restaurants or other retailers, or maybe if you're selling direct to consumers, but just think the inaction is doing nothing what Wesleyan just described. Well, you get spaghetti, you get the
Zucchini noodles.
zucchini noodles.
Zucchini noodles.
The
and
zucchini
meatballs.
noodles, right?
Real
If
pasta.
if I do nothing in keeping the fashion disaster and don't take Terrell's expertise and advice, what is my risk? What is my challenge there? So again, the more that we understand your ideal buyer, and guys, hopefully you're getting our lingo by now, those soulmates, the more we understand they're in, it's always like, hey, what's the pain? What's the pain, right? No, like what's the challenge that they're facing and how can you help them overcome that?
Absolutely. And Marcelina, if we think about the the impact of them not solving the problem of having to over and over and over refilling a position, it's the time it's taking from the hiring manager. And there's a huge cost associated with that. And so I would encourage you, Marcelina, like, what is the cost of a bad hire? I do that in sales. I show them, I'm like, this is how much it costs to hire a bad salesperson. And it's not just the salary, it's the time taken from the hiring manager, it's from the operations group, the product group, because everybody has to train a new hire. And so sometimes people have blinders on, like, I got to fill this position, I got to fill this position. But look how much it's cost you, right? And literally think about how it impacts someone personally and professionally. Because even if you're selling a consumer product like a I need to go back to my the phonetics. I got it. Charcuterie. There we go. Charcuterie board and vegan cheese. You may think that that is something that a consumer will buy, but how does that impact them professionally? When they know that they're going to have something at work, they'll bring their own cheese, right? They'll bring their own stuff with them. So again, that inclusiveness is there. So think about personal as well as professional.
Look what Terrell just dropped. That's a powerful statement right there.
In helping build people confidence, stand out, get noticed, our clients avoid depression and suicidal thoughts. Y'all are getting deep on me today. Man, y'all are getting real deep on me today, because that is so true. And people don't realize that something as simple as having clothes that fit them, their body type, will help them feel a little more confidence.
Right.
And when they're more confident, they are no longer thinking this isn't worth it. Like Marcelina said, you are saving lives. So literally, I want you to think about that. This is deep. That's how deep you go. So Terrell, obviously you're not going to cold call somebody and say, oh, hey, yeah, this is Terrell. What we do is we help you overcome your suicidal thoughts. Excuse me, who are you talking to? What? Huh? But when you are writing your content, when you are putting things on social media, you talk about those things. Because your soulmate, as Curt and I have talked about many, many times, is thinking about that. They're thinking about that depression. They're thinking about, should I end it all? They're thinking about, I can never find anything that looks good on me. I don't like what I see in the mirror. So you talk about that on social media. So all of this research, we've been talking for almost an hour. And we're just talking about getting into the customer's world. And so again, serving before selling. So I am serving my prospects. I am serving my customers because I understand exactly the problems they're experiencing and how they impact them. And guess what? If you don't know, because sometimes we'll like come up with the ivory tower and we'll be like, oh, these are all the things that need to happen. But it's okay to do a win-loss report. What's a win-loss report, Curt?
Well, I was referred to my stories. I'll give you an example. So All right. So you and I have a super heavy week this week. My goodness gracious. So we are at Temple here today. We're at Purdue University tomorrow. We're back here at Temple. Guys, if you're having half as much fun as Weslyene and I, we're back here again tomorrow, tomorrow afternoon. We're doing a huge project in the state of Illinois with the Illinois MEP Manufacturing Extension Partnership with these manufacturers. Super heavy. 2 weeks ago, I was asked to speak at an event next week. I was taking no events for May. I've told my family, I'm like, hey, this is a busy month. I'm not doing anything. A guy, it was a cold connection through a mutual friend of ours, reaches out. He goes, hey, I'm doing this event on May 25th. Would you speak? And I said, I said yes. Why on earth did I say yes? I don't know why I said yes. And the thing is, it was really kind of selfish. It wasn't like in my right mind to say yes, because I was not committing anything in May. All right, here's my diatribe. I'm so laser focused on this program today, our programs tomorrow, everything that you and I are doing this week. We have a super heavy week. I'm like laser focused. All of a sudden that event became a distraction, and they wanted this and promotion, and they wanted a bunch more things that I didn't ask the right question to say, like, oh, do you need things from me between now and the 25th? They needed a bunch of things from me. What it did is started occupying my mind, distracting from everything that you and I are working on this week.
Yeah.
So my point is to everybody, sometimes we say yes to a situation. What did I do? I reached out to the guy. You and I love my brother, Damon. I connected this gentleman with Damon. Damon took my place. Damon is 10 times better at this subject. It resonates with Damon's soulmates better. Reason for my diatribe is I slipped into, here, I'm guilty of it all the time. I slipped into a situation and accepted because I don't want to pass up an opportunity. And it wasn't a great fit for me. Now it worked out so much better because I passed the baton to somebody who was a better fit for that program, for that project. Damon's happy. This guy is absolutely thrilled that I connected him with Damon. And now I can laser focus on everything that you and I are working on. So you want to create those win-win-wins all the way around. Hopefully, I don't know, did that resonate or did that make sense?
That is perfect. That is perfect, because literally what you did is that would be what I would call a type of a win-loss report. Because yes, okay, I won this business, but it's not really a good fit for me. So when we think about the problems and the impacts and why did the person even reach out to you? So even going back to him and saying, hey, can you tell me what about my profile or what about me resonated with you so that you decided to contact me instead of all the other people you could have contacted? Because you need to know that. You're like, okay, am I doing something right or am I doing something wrong? Do I want more people like that or do I want less people like that? And so that is very important. So interview 5 customers that you've done business with and 5 that you haven't done business with. If you don't have 5 yet, I encourage you to interview your first 5 wins and first 5 losses, because maybe you're brand new, but this is really, really important to understand. So what do I do with all this data? Okay, Wesley, and I get it. You're a chemist and you like data, you like all of this junk, but now what do I do with this? You craft your unique problem statement. Your unique problem statement. What is our unique problem statement? I'm going to give you guys a few examples. So at the top, this is one specifically for manufacturing. Distributors in the Midwest are getting squeezed from their customers on pricing, which impacts their gross margin. With such low gross margin rates, making updates to their facilities has become a challenge. Wow. Okay. Wow, that's pretty intense. You can't even really tell what I'm selling here, right? I could be selling anything. But if I'm a distributor in the Midwest and I know I'm getting squeezed, then this is going to resonate with me. When a sales manager has more than 10 direct reports, they spend more time putting out fires than coaching their team. This leads to missed forecasts because they take their eye off strategic growth. So crafting your unique problem statement. First, call out the soulmate. We didn't deep dive into soulmates today. There's probably previous webinars that Curt and I have done, and I think we have some upcoming where we talk about our soulmates. But who is the person that you want to buy from you, period? That is your soulmate. So call that person out. Say the problem that they have, and then how it impacts them, right? And that is your unique problem statement. Mm-hmm. So I feel like Terrell was like one step ahead. Maybe he was already looking at my slide, but he literally has that there. What's happening? People. I want you to get specific on people, Terrell. Are we talking about millennials? Are we talking about men? Are we talking about women? Are we talking about teenagers, college students? Who are people, right? So the way I would reframe that problem statement is people that don't have confidence will not stand out or get noticed. This leads to depression and suicidal thoughts. So literally, how I reframe that is I'm speaking directly to my person, right? And again, this unique problem statement, because people talk about value proposition, but a value proposition is just something that sits on a website and does nothing. So that's foolishness to me. I talk about a unique problem statement. This is literally the problem people are having, and this is what the impact of not solving it is going to be. So if anybody wants to drop something in there, I'm happy to work through it and reframe it for you right here live. So see, some people are dropping off. We're actually on for another 30 minutes. So if you have 30 minutes, we'll be here. And our goal is to help you craft that unique problem statement. And so now, okay, we got our unique problem statement, and I want you to insert it after your personalization. Huh? What you mean? What is personalization, Weslyene? What does personalization mean to you, Curt? Have you ever heard of that word before?
Why don't you enlighten everybody? Well, you know what? Wait, before you do, you know what? We didn't go there because I didn't create the slide deck. Guys, I always open up with the Wesleyanisms. So, right? And she has a hashtag, Wesleyan wisdom, right? So Weslyene, please enlighten us. Let's get a little Wesleyan wisdom right now.
All right, Regina, reach out later. Yes. And if anybody who's dropping off, send us a message on LinkedIn. I will take time to chat with you, spend some time working through some of these things. I am happy to connect with anyone. It simply shows someone that you know something about them. Like I actually spent a little time researching. And so again, remember we went to that sending out 100 emails versus 10 emails a day. This is why we send out higher quality emails instead of spraying and praying, right? So really, really show that you know something about somebody. So this is one of my favorite ones.
I'm showing this tomorrow at our LinkedIn workshop at Purdue University. I love this. So what happened here, Weslyene?
So literally, this says I spent at least 60 seconds learning more about you. He sent the message at 10:44. At 10:45, I responded. What did I say? Girl, Dad, I love it. You're a boy mom. I'm a boy mom, right? So again, you need to find ways to personalize your outreach. This is a little example of how we put it all together. Hey, Andre, I just read the recommendation Lisa gave you about your proven results in customer-centric leadership. That's a very impressive combination of skills for a VP of sales. Not to be nosy, but what are you doing to prevent salespeople from making excuses that can cause long sales cycles and low sales revenue? That is my unique problem statement. Like, hey, how are you preventing your salespeople from not saying, oh, we didn't hit quota this month. Oh, we didn't hit quota this month. And that's it. This is like literally the whole cold email. That's it. Do you see anything about Weslyene being great or what I even sell or whatever I even do? See any of that in there, Curt?
I don't see a single bit of that, Wesleyan.
Nothing.
Nothing.
Nothing. So again, bringing everything together that we talked about today. When we are in a sales environment, it is so important to first know who we're talking to. Research before you actually are trying to sell. And remember, if you're selling a business to consumer product and your product is like $10, you're like, you expect me to research every single person? No, I don't. But I expect you to know a lot about the demographic. And that's why you got to niche down so tiny, tiny, right? So Terrell, that's why I'm like, are you talking to millennials? Are you talking to this kind of person? I think I saw somebody who helps with staffing. What kind of companies? Are they small manufacturing companies? Is it a retail company? Really, no. So again, this is back in the day when I was first married and I was learning to cook. I used to watch a show called Semi Homemade. I don't know if you ever heard of it, but she would take like a box cake and then add like some pudding to it and then some butter. And she'd like, it's semi-homemade, right? That's what we're doing here. It's semi-customized. So if we're speaking to a demographic of people, then we should be able to take the same messaging. So this is extra ultra personalized. But if Andre is a VP of sales, I could literally say, and he is a VP of sales that has a recommendation. Doesn't matter what it says. I can say, I just read your amazing recommendation. And that's a real great combination of skills for a VP of sales. Right? So again, you have to think about your demographic of people. So when you're cold emailing or cold calling or on social media, you can speak to them. So that's what that little bit of personalization is. And then our problem statement. How do we take what we know the challenges are within our demographic and actually flip that and say, hey, is this something you're concerned about? What are you doing to solve this? No, I'm not asking for a meeting yet. I'm not asking for anything. I'm just like, is this something that you're concerned about? What are you doing to prevent this? I'm looking for nothing or a whole paragraph of things that they're doing. And then I'm going to jump on it. So I really want you guys to be thinking about how I can focus on serving. And in closing, when you think about serving your demographic, serving your prospects, serving your clients, I want you to think about the valuable information you can give them. We talked about suicide. We talked about inclusiveness. How can I make some type of giveaway? How can I make a little case study, a brochure that I can just offer people up because I know their problems and the impact it's having on them. And when you give people something of value, they come back to you because they're like, Curt is the one who helped me understand what SEO was. Even if it's not today, it may be in 2 weeks, 2 months, 2 years, but they will come back to you. So Terrell has a whole beautiful thing, and I want you guys all to use this time because Curt and I are here to answer your questions and help you achieve your goals. So do you have a question about your buyer persona? Do you want to drop a problem statement into the chat? Anything that you have, any questions you have, really, we can go on what we're talking about today, or maybe you have a general question about sales and marketing. How often should I post? What platform should I use? Is LinkedIn worth it? Just drop it in the chat or the Q&A. All righty, so I'm going to read Terrell's.
And quick thing to add, while you guys are submitting your questions, I'm posting a link to a 4-question survey about today's webinar. We value your feedback and we use it to improve our events in the future. This is also required by our funders, the Small Business Administration, so we can continue offering no-cost workshops.
Thank you, Taya. And again, while you're reading that, Wesley, I just want to give a shout out to everybody at the Small Business Development Center. And again, if you're within Philadelphia, metro area, you want to reach out to the Temple Small Business Development Center. Their services are completely free, confidential. They have rock star business advisors that are here to help you. If you're coming to us from outside of that area, there's an SBDC near you. So you absolutely want to connect with your local SBDC. I can't speak high enough about the services that they provide. Last year, all those the PPP loans, the EIDL loans that the SBA put out, the SBDC was right in the front lines, helping millions of entrepreneurs really survive extremely challenging times. So guys, if you're a new entrepreneur and you're just getting launched, connect with the SBDC. So Weslyene, let's take a look. Man, I think Terrell did
Terrell, I'm curious, did you just come up with this right now, or is this something you pulled out from your coffers? Because this is amazing. You have gotten so specific, and this is exactly how much and how in tune we need to be with our soulmate. Terrell knows this person. He sees this person in his mind. When he writes his content, he sees this person. When he is walking down the street, he's like, oh, I see you. He knows this person. And that's how intimately we need to know our person. And you might say, well, I sell to a business. I'm doing business to business. Who in the business are you selling to? Is it the receptionist? Is it the president? Whoever that person is, you need to have a laser focus like this. So I'll hand this over to you, Curt, because his soulmate seems like somebody that you might know.
Well, I love what you're saying there. Being laser focused on that soulmate, that ideal buyer, you do a great job of always preaching, we don't want to be everything to everyone. And when you laser focus on, like Terrell's done here, where he knows that person intimately, they're walking down the street, like we know in our space, we're always talking about like engineering Ernie or engineering Elsa, who's, what age are they? What demographic are they? And the deeper dive that we take, the less that we try to be everything to everyone. So I think it was yesterday, we were doing a workshop I did a workshop at the Alaska MEP yesterday. And we were talking about, hey, I manufacture air purifiers. So therefore, everybody that breathes is my customer. Too big, too broad. If you sell a pet supply, well, hey, everybody that owns a dog is my client. It's just, you're going to be extremely challenged and frustrated. Here, let's take a look at Terrell. So in regards to the free offer, can I create multiple or something different for each problem to solve? Weslyene, what do you think of that?
I love that. And so one thing that I want to ask you, Terrell, or tell you, Terrell, about your target audience customer, I want you, and it's okay to have more than one soulmate. You don't have to just have one. You can have multiple soulmates, but an 18-year-old is very different than a 40-year-old. Mm-hmm. So the things that they are thinking about in life is very different. So I want you to kind of put those in little pieces and boxes. So maybe you say 18 to 22, because they're kind of in college, 22 to probably 32. That's kind of like early life outside of college, discovering themselves, and then 33 to 40, right? So is there a post test? I don't know about that one, Jacqueline. I'm not sure. Can you give us more information about your post test? But Terrell, so yes, you should start with one. Get really, really good at that first one. But for each problem, you absolutely should. So for you, you need one about suicide. You need one about depression. You need something about confidence, right? So those are the three that I pulled out just from listening, just from seeing what you help solve. And so how do you spin that and make it usable for a client? A great thing is a case study. And so people, when I say case study, they're like, oh, I gotta go back to English in 10th grade. What is that? Right? So you don't necessarily need to write it out. One of the things that I love doing, and it's because I like talking just a little bit, is I record myself. And so there's an awesome app. It's called otter.ai. You can record and it transcribes for you. You can do it right on your phone or on the computer, and you just talk it out. You can say, Daryl was a 20-year-old male. This was what he was doing in life, blah, 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 right? And so you talk about his problem, then the impact the problem had on him, and then you wrap it up with your solution, right? And so that is a really good thing that you can give away to people. And then you can take that, and that's like probably 60 days of content, because each little bit in there, you can post it. You can post the picture. You can post. Okay, so I'm going off on a tangent now. But
No, that's good.
Jacqueline, the survey is up above. Maybe we need to copy it for you.
Yeah, if you look in the chat, Taya just dropped it in there for the survey.
Yeah, there you go.
There it is. Yep. Thank you, Wesley.
Awesome. Any other questions before we wrap up?
So we got Nia still here, Stephanie, Lenny, Kim, Flurry. I feel like I've seen Kim in here before. Jacqueline, Dee Dee, Becca, Agam, if I'm saying that right. Who'd I miss? Vaughn, of course, Terrell. So guys, thank you for joining us today. We know how busy you are. Wesley and I love doing these workshops. We never take any of these for granted. We know it's out there. It's challenging out there as entrepreneurs, and it's great having an SBDC here by your side. Again, great services that they offer. We still have a few more minutes. I know you have a speaking gig coming up here, Weslyene. We're sticking around, or we can wind down and get a few more minutes back in your day. But guys, please, if you have a question, don't be shy. Thank you for engaging. Thank you for commenting. Thank you for sharing your business with us today. Obviously, we're huge fans. We're rooting you on. How can I get the post? Survey. I do not.
Still doesn't see it. I dropped it in. So maybe Taya, you can.
Taya, does a survey go out in an email to everybody afterwards? Do you know?
Yes. The survey will also be in a follow-up email that you guys will be receiving within a few days. So if you missed it here, I'll put it down in the chat box one more time. And then if you miss it here, you'll see it in that follow-up email as well.
Got it. Perfect. So, okay. And again, so any other questions? We're more than happy. We don't want to rush, but again, if we know you guys are super busy, it's tough dedicating an hour and a half to a program. Anything else that you guys have? And if not, anybody that's dropping off, thank you for sharing your afternoon with us today.
Yes. Well, thank you. Curt dropped in our LinkedIn, the way that you can connect with us. That is the best way to get in touch with either Curt or I. We're on there a lot. We're so glad that you guys enjoyed this, and we will see you next time.
We're back tomorrow, actually, Wesley.
Oh, yeah.
So we're back tomorrow. I think 1:30 Eastern time. So we're doing a little workshop at Purdue University right before that. And so Dee Dee, thank you. God bless you guys. Terrell, thank you for participating. Stephanie, my fellow Lakewood person here. Again, guys, we're rooting you on. Entrepreneurship is certainly tough. Don't ever feel like you're alone. Don't feel like you're in a silo. I know it gets lonely as an entrepreneur. Again, go to those networking events. As a matter of fact, tomorrow, that's what we're talking about, Wesley. We're talking about,
it's going to be a totally different topic. We're going to be talking about networking with excellence. So
absolutely.
And we are excited to see you tomorrow.
We would like to thank you, Curt and Weslyene, for joining us today and presenting this lovely presentation and great information for all of us.
Awesome. Thank you so much.
Thank you, Taya.
Bye.
Thank you, guys. Have an awesome day. Thank you, Weslyene.
Have a good one. Bye-bye.
See you guys.